Good morning and welcome to the Manic Pixie Dream Vlog. I'm your host Caroline Georges and welcome. So, I've decided I need to stop using waterproof mascara. It's just not working out. It still runs and it sticks to your face. And it's just been a problem, and so it needs to stop. So, but at the same time, like, you kind of have like this Egyptian look, like when you wear waterproof mascara. It's sort of weird. But, not to be racist towards Egyptians. They had beautiful makeup practices. In fact, I mean, I wonder if ancient Egypt were the first persons to use makeup. Who were they? Who were the first women to use makeup? And why did they? Why did these women wear makeup? Sometimes I don't wear makeup in my vlogs. I think it helps me be more honest. Once I've dabbled in the occult stuff and it's not good. I don't like it. It doesn't bring positive stuff into your life. It's not good. It's definitely not good. And, but when I did dabble in it, there was this witch's night hike that I went to in the Griffith Park. And once you got to the end of the trail, like a bunch of us got naked, we danced, we chanted things. You know, it wasn't like we were doing freaky shit up there. It was just, well, I mean, you know, a lot of the women that were getting naked weren't very attractive, you know what I mean? And so, and I love the female form, you know what I mean? I love women. I love women's bodies, you know what I mean? But still, like, some of these women were just like, ugh, ooh, like, but, anyways, but I wore heels on this night hike, and I wanted to do, like, a meditation on suffering. And that was what I wanted. Because if I could hike up a mountain wearing heels, then I can hike it under any circumstances. You know what I mean? And sometimes you have to do what you have to do wearing heels. You know what I mean? I don't know. I have a friend, and she's like 28. She's married to a guy who's 60. She has a baby. Everything she wears is designer. Her husband owns like property in China and in the United States. He owns like a boat and stuff like that. Like, she's living the dream. And it's like, and she's like, always like, I'm going to set you up with somebody. I'm going to find you a rich husband and that sort of thing. And she's like, you know, I don't know. It's really sweet that she wants to set me up with someone, but I just feel like, I don't know. I worry all the time that nobody wants to marry me. My mom said to me, Caroline, if you're going to be a slam dunk on the first date, no one's ever going to marry you. And that always really stuck with me. And that's because men want sex to be a mystery. They like it being obnoxious and out there and in their face. They like it for sure, but they want it to be a mystery. Deep down, they want it to be a mystery. Deep down, they want it to be like this secret flower that only they can see, you know what I mean? That only they get access to. I wonder if I was hacked, if that did happen, is it comparable to rape? Can I say that I was raped? You know what I mean? under that circumstance? Can I say that? Because I've been wondering about that. It's been really messing with my head. It's been really fucking with my head. You had no idea. You really have no idea. Unless you're going through this, unless you're experiencing something like this, which you're not. You can't be. Nobody can be. This is like I'm going through a trial and a tribulation that that no women, so many women don't have to go through. Yeah, and tons of actresses and celebrities got hacked and had their nudes strewn all over the world and stuff like that, and that sucks for them and stuff, but like, still. It's like you're living with people. I was like, it felt like I was living with someone. It felt like people moved in. And I pray to God, like, I hope that this was just some fluke bipolar episode where I just got it in my head that I got hacked. And that it's all in my head. And I don't know, I just have to, and maybe that's the best choice to make in this situation. Maybe that's the best way to move on. It was all in my head. It was all in my imagination. It never happened. Maybe that's the best thing for me to do. But it's still scary, and it's still hurtful. And it's still hard having to realize that there are people in this world that just want to hurt you for some reason. And whether this situation is real or not, whether it's in my head or not, it's coming from a place of knowing that there are men in this world that want to hurt me for some reason, for some inexplicable reason that I don't understand. There are men in this world that want to hurt me. How selfish that there are men in this world that want to hurt me. And how selfish it is of them that these men that want to hurt me are all men that I care about in some way. My stepbrother, my ex-boyfriend. I said that I helped raise my stepbrother. And I did. Because I thought he was amazing, and I always thought he was amazing, I was able to tell him that he was amazing in a very special and unique way because I really believed it. And I have a special way of saying things that helps people. I have a special way of saying things that men especially find helpful. That's the thing with men. Men are just big babies. They're just big babies. Like you have all of these, the Marvel, like Captain America, like, I don't know, Terminator and stuff, but they're not. That's not what men are. They're just big babies. Even the ones that come across as heroic, they're killing out of fear. It's all coming from a place of fear. They're all scared they're going to die. They're all scared they're going to die, and they're not going to leave behind enough children. They're not going to leave behind enough money. They're not going to leave behind enough change. They're not going to leave behind a big enough name. So that's why they tattoo themselves in girls' hearts and in girls' minds. That's why they do that. That's why they rape. So it's like these guys, these random guys that I don't know, I don't choose, I don't have a say in this. Just these random men make decisions about who runs my life. That's the thing. I don't think men want me as a partner. I think they want me as a possession. I think they want to own me in whatever way that they can, in whatever way they can figure out. They want to own me. But I don't know. You know what? Like those Greek priestesses or those Greek mystics and stuff back in the day, they were prostitutes. They were strippers. You know what I mean? They were courtesans. And they were worshipped and adored, and they were respected and treated with honor, and they were listened to, and they were educated, and they were taught about the gods, you know? They were given sacred wisdom about the gods. These women who are just really beautiful and good at fucking. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Maybe I found my place in the world and I should just shut up and be happy about it. Maybe my place in the world is not being a wife and a mother. Maybe it's being a muse. Men can show their darkness to me and I'll understand it. You know what I mean? So why don't these people respect me? Why don't these men love me back? You know? I see the beauty and the tragedy of people like Louis C.K. I see the heartache in someone like him. I see the pain. And it's a lot like my own. Just this feeling of being not good enough and wanting to impress on people who make you feel that way. But, you know, to think if Louis C.K. just felt good about himself, if Louis C.K. just was in a good place and was just in a good place in his mind, you know what I mean? The things he did, the mistakes he made never would have happened, you know? Maybe the best thing to do to heal the world is to just forgive him and move on. Even though he did things that, you know, to the people he did them to are pretty unforgivable. But maybe it's good that everybody has people in the world that can forgive them, and then there are just going to be some people in the world that can't. Everyone deserves people that can forgive them and make them feel good and make them feel redeemed. You know, everyone deserves people like that in their lives. But as far as being a wife and being a mother, I'm still young. I'm still beautiful. I'm still smart. And there's lots of good men out there who don't hurt women. And if they do, I just hope they just feel really bad about it. That's the least they can do. I just hope they just feel really shit about it for the rest of their lives, men that hurt women. I'm in pain all the time because of men, because of what men have done to me. I'm in pain all the time. I cry all the time. And just when it seems like men have done enough, they just fucking do more. You know what I mean? I don't know. Just to the men that have hurt me, like, I mean, I'm sorry, but just like, but why? Why? Come on. Come on. Why did you hurt me? Why did you hurt me? What have I done? What have I ever done to you? What did I do? And you know what? The shit that I've done back to men, that was me. I've never hit men. Men have hit me and I've hit them back. And I've hurt men that didn't deserve it. I've taken advantage of men that didn't deserve it. It's funny, just the domino effect of evil. You know what I mean? Somebody hurts you, and then that you hurt somebody else, and then it just goes around the world. This people hurting people, it goes around the world. It starts here and then ends. It never ends. You know, the Bible says that the sins of the father last 7 generations. And I don't know. I mean, if I have children, they're always going to have to deal with the fact that their mother was a stripper. They're going to be made fun of. People are going to give them shit. I mean, if you think about it, my choices now or before, from before, are going to affect people that don't even exist yet. But I don't know, you know, to be honest, like, I mean, I think Kim Kardashian seems like a really good mother, and the fact that she, like, came back from making a sex tape and that sort of thing. You know, I really do think Kim Kardashian is a good role model. Because she's a good wife, and she's a good mother. And she wasn't perfect. And she's doing good things with her life now. I just think, how do I go on? What do I do? You know what I mean? What do I do with all this pain? What do I do with all this pain men have caused me? What do I do? It's so uncomfortable. It's so hard to live with. And I want to run, you know what I mean? And I feel like I'm being forced to walk. Because I have all of this pain holding me down. I have to process through so much pain just to get to a final thought on things, you know? I have to process through so much pain. I have to process through pain to make or write a joke. I have to process through pain to connect with a friend. I have to process through pain to be able to have sex. Like, I have to process through pain all the time. And sometimes I get so uncomfortable that I curse God. Sometimes I get so uncomfortable with all this pain that I tell God I hate him. I don't know. I mean, talked about witchcraft. Witchcraft is just like you're taking the universe into your hands. You're taking control. You're taking control back from God. You're like, fuck off, God. I'm not letting you run my life. But then things go your way and you get what the things that you wanted instead of the things that God wanted for you. I was thinking maybe, like, you know, instead of committing suicide, I could always become a nun. I could always become a nun one day. I know that sounds like I'm joking, but I'm really not. That would be a choice. You know what I mean? Maybe in 10 years, 15 years or something like that, if I don't know. I need to stop being so morbid. And I mean, by morbid, I mean just the reality, like living in a reality where like a wife or where a husband and a baby never happens for me. That's where me being morbid. I could die. I'd rather die than live my life without being able to have a child. You know what I mean? And it's something I think about all the time. Like I think about death. I think about not having a baby more than I think about death. And I'm obsessed with death. I mean, who isn't? People are morbid. Death is just a living, breathing thing, just like anything else. It's, you know, that's why we all have our own relationship with it. And I don't know. The Bible says death isn't real. Death is a physical thing, and that we never really die. But I think about dying all the time. Because if you understand death, I mean, you can understand a lot of things just by understanding death. You can understand a lot of things. A lot of things that make life meaningful. You can understand those things a lot better. People who have near-death experiences tend to discover a lot about life from having those experiences. You know, I've been thinking a lot about like what I should do and how I should think about things. You know, and I've been thinking about Madmen. I went on a date, kind of, or I don't know. I went to this guy's place to watch Madmen. He's kind of like this somewhat famous comic, and he asked me out at a show. And I think he's an asshole, and I'm not going to talk to him anymore. But anyways, I went over to his place to watch Madmen, and I ended up just like falling asleep. I was so tired, I ended up just falling asleep on his couch. And but he and I kind of connected on Madmen, and we've been talking about Madmen and stuff, and he's like, I really connect with Don Draper. I really connect with Don Draper. And it's like, I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, in all fairness, if anybody's Don Draper, that's me, fucking, first of all. Sorry. But think about it. Anyways, but I mean, the character I identify the most with, though, in Mad Men is Joan. Actually, I identify with her character more than any other character in the history of television. Like, Joan is it for me. Like, I'm totally a Joan. I'm totally Joan. Joan and I are the same person. I'm the 2020 version of Joan. I'm Joan in the 2020s, and Joan was the 1960s version of Joan. Anyways, that's how I feel about her. I just love her, and she's so strong, and so and she and I just get her so much, and it's nice. That's what characters like that are supposed to be for. They're supposed to, be for women like me, and they're supposed to, I can project myself onto a character and live through somebody else's experiences and learn from them, in a story. It's a beautiful thing. That's a fantastic thing. It's an incredible thing. It's such a miracle. People don't recognize that. People don't realize that. People don't give gratitude to that enough. What storytelling is. What entertainment is. Because that's the wonderful thing about being a comedian, is that in order to make people laugh, they have to relate to you. They have to. You have to force people to relate to you. To be on your side and to understand you. And, but Joan helps me understand myself a lot. And how she handled a situation, these men at her workplace that she was very supportive of, she helped, Joan was just such a den mother, and she just was really loving and supportive of all of these men that worked at this office. And she deserved so much respect that she didn't get, and she just did so much for these men at this office. She did so much for them. They never appreciated her. She ended up getting fired at the end of the show. She ended up getting fired. No one stood up for her. But she rose up, and it's fine. But anyways, Joan, they drew a photo of her where she was giving Lane Price a blowjob. And Elaine Price, who's another character, on the show. And so one of the art people, one of these guys in the art department drew a photo of her giving a guy a blowjob and taped it on her wall in her office. So she got pissed off, and she went over to them, and she told them. And I have this scene memorized. I love this part. She says, "I can't wait for the day that all of you are in Vietnam, and when they're shooting at you, know that you're not fighting for me because I never liked you. No, you're not fighting for me because I never liked you." She scared the shit out of them. You know what I mean? Because she didn't give a fuck, She stood up for herself. And she handled the situation. What kind of men hurt women that are just trying to make their lives better? What kind of men do that? Men without honor. But I never got anything back. I gave men everything, and they never gave me shit back. And I question whether or not I think I'm entitled or not, that I think men owe me the world. That I just feel that way. I don't know, I'm sorry, but I just feel that way. I just feel like men owe me the world. I feel like certain men in the world owe me the fucking world. They owe me everything. Because that's what I gave them. Would these men really rather live their lives being in debt to me? And let me live in pain? You know, because the priestesses and stuff, Nero, he was in love with a priestess. You know, and her name was Pompeia. Nero, the emperor of Rome, killed all the Christians. He was in love with a priestess named Pompeia. And when she started telling him things he didn't want to hear, he forced her to slit her wrists. And then when she couldn't do it, she was strangled by one of the guards. And he let her commit suicide because that was an honorable death back then. It was honorable to commit suicide back then. Your life was yours. Your life was always truly yours if you committed suicide back then. But how do you claim ownership of your life by throwing it away? But she was murdered. She didn't commit suicide. She was murdered. She was forced to commit suicide. And I don't know. Yeah. And it's just like, yeah, men are like that. You know, and just all the times I came close to death because of the ways my stepbrother made me feel. And he's finally giving back. He's giving so much back. I have all this love from him. I have all this support from him. But I shouldn't have to earn that through pain. I should just have that without having to go through anything. All of a sudden, I just have this overwhelming feeling like maybe men do own me. Maybe they do. Maybe the world truly is a patriarchy, and women belong to men. And feminism is just the illusion painted over the patriarchy that women somehow own themselves when they don't. Look what happens to us when we're raped. And men don't rule the world. I read the Bible all the time, and the Bible is supposed to be allegedly very sexist, but it's not sexist. The Bible's not sexist. That's still how shit is. How shit is in the Bible is still how shit is today. It is. Give unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Even when it's not fair. Caesar wants something for you. If the rulers of the world want something from you, you just have to give it to them. That's not fair. That's not equality. That's not freedom. But that's how shit is. And the Bible knew that. It's always how shit's gonna be. Ugh, I could just talk for hours, y'all. I'm just gonna talk. I don't care. I don't fucking care. I just feel like talking. I have so much on my mind. Sometimes I just fantasize about thinking about nothing. Like, I fantasize. I literally, like, I meditate about being able to meditate. Like, I fantasize about just being able to, like, just think about nothing. Just think about fucking nothing. For just, however long. That'd be so nice. And the only movie I want to go see right now is Bombshell, and that's all about sexual harassment. So, God, fuck. It's everywhere. How shit is. You know, what I've had to go through just because I wanted to be a comedian. Just because I want to be a comedian, and what I have to go through because I have that want. And the oppression I faced. The abuse I faced. But just, it's comedy. That's comedy. Comedy, and it's worth it. It's all worth it. You know, and I was thinking about what do I want more? If I had to choose a career in comedy or being a wife and a mother, what would I choose? You know? You know, and 10 times out of 10, I would choose being a wife and being a mother. And no one loves comedy more than me. And if anyone says they love comedy more than me, fuck you. You don't know what I've been through. So, yeah. Anyways, but there's nothing more honorable, there's nothing more sacred, there's nothing more precious, there's nothing more amazing, there's nothing more noble than being a wife and a mother. Sometimes I think that being a mom will just justify my right to exist or something like that. Like, it's just like because I've created life, that somehow validates my own, you know what I mean? I could have a baby and I could die the next day, knowing I did everything that I needed to do. I understand so many things. But there's just too many things where it's just like I just think about things and all of a sudden my mind turns to black, and it's just like I can't wrap my head around these things. I can't understand things. And men are one of those things. I think about men, and then my thoughts only go so far before it all becomes just like what? Like what? Like really? Like what? What? Why do men hurt me? There's so many girls in this world that men haven't hurt like they've hurt me. What's special about those girls, and what's different about those girls, and what's different about me? You know what I mean? I have to think about that all the time too. There are some girls in this world who are just too good to be abused. You know what I mean? I'm not one of those girls. You know what I mean? There's some little girls who are just too good and too perfect and too precious to be on Jeffrey Epstein's island, you know? That sounds sick and disgusting that that's true, but it's fucking true. Some women have that scarlet letter that just like that sign on their back that just says abuse me, you know what I mean? And some women don't. But I wonder just like if this is how God is creating me, like I'm being created, you know what I mean? God is a creator, and I'm being created somehow to be, am I meant to end up with somebody who's evil? You know what I mean? Is that what I'm meant to be? Am I meant to end up with somebody who's not a good person? And I'm meant to end up with that person because abuse and rape and horrible things aren't deal breakers to me. That was another thing Joan from Madmen understood, was that rape wasn't a deal breaker to her either. Rape is just, I'm sorry I failed to make you feel powerful. I'm sorry I failed to make you feel good in my own capacity and my own ability to do that. So I understand why you abused me, and I understand why you raped me. You know what I mean? That's what it's like. You see, I see being in a relationship and having a man as a job. You know what I mean? And if they're treating me a certain way, it's because I failed them somehow. And maybe if I just found a man that I could just make him, I just knew how to make him feel like a man all the time. You know what I mean? I just knew how to do that. And I never, then he wouldn't abuse me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's just is this pain ever gonna go away? And am I always gonna live in fear that more pain is right around the corner? And can I really just pretend it never happened? Is that the solution? Is that how I fix things? Just pretend it never happened? Is that the selfless thing to do? Just my pain, make my pain my own and make it nobody else's problem but my own? Even the people that have afflicted me with this pain, I have to just bear the pain that has been inflicted on me and not let it affect anybody else but myself, because And I just, Christians say that suicide is a sin. Maybe it is. But why does the world give you so many reasons that not to live? All this pain that I'm feeling in my heart and my head could all be over. Could all go away. But I don't want to die. That's not fair. I didn't rape anyone. I don't want to die. I really like being alive. I really love living my life. And, I live with all this pain and I still live my life, so no one loves life more than me. No one does. No one loves being alive more than me. This world is an abusive boyfriend and I'm never going to leave him. Anyways. Ooh, that's my vlog for today. Like and subscribe and share. Thanks, honestly, for those of you who have made it to the end of this. Thank you for watching all of this and letting me, and hearing me out, listening to me, honestly. It means so much to me, being listened to and being heard, because I was ignored for so long. I was ignored all my life. I'm pretty servile. I'm kind of a den mother. And a friend of mine pointed this out, and he was like, you're always just like helping people and, doing all this stuff for people, and, and you're always, making sure everyone's okay and stuff. And like, why do you do that? And it's just like, is that from stripping? Like, do you get that from stripping? And it's like, no, like, my stepfamily turned me and my sister into slaves, like, I was raised that way. I was raised in a patriarchal environment where I needed to serve people. And that's just who I am. And me being raised the way I was raised, you just have to, sometimes men are just going to make you clean up the mess, and that's just how it is. I remember once my stepbrothers came over with some of their friends, and they created a huge mess, like Dorito chips all over the floor, empty cans, just huge mess. Then they left, and my mom was just like to me and my sister, you guys clean it up. We didn't say a damn thing. We just cleaned it up. They just came over, made this huge mess, and we just cleaned it up. But now, because of that, I serve people, and I help people. And I'm a den mother, and I'm a caretaker, and I take care of people, you know what I mean? That's what I do. And that's how I was raised, and that's how I'm going to be, and that's a beautiful thing. It was bullshit back then, but it's not anymore, you know? Good can come from the bad. Sometimes the best things in life come from the bad. Because you appreciate how good they are. Because you could always compare it to how bad it was. Anyways, that is my vlog for today. Like and subscribe and share. Have a lovely day. Bye.